We welcome you back to once again another edition of Inside Earlham College Golf with head coach Matt GEHRING. We are down to tournament time. In fact, it seems like we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, but how can you not focus on this week? So it's been a lot of fun. Before we talk about these next two weekends, you finish 8th at Defiance. Let's go back to Defiance and just talk a little bit about, because that's your final tune-up now for this next two weekends.
Right. You know, at the Defiance Invitational, we kind of started off slow the first day on Saturday. We were a few over collectively through the first few holes there. And there, even though the front nine is more open and it's shorter, those first few holes can jump up and get you, and then it's about how you respond. So as a coach, the first day, even though we pretty much shot what our average is, I was pleased with the way that we finished.
Right.
I wasn't pleased with the fact that it was 328 and that we were sitting where we were. You know, we were in 9th. But I was pleased with the position that we put ourselves in, and I really thought that, you know, we learned a lot about ourselves that first day and that we could make a charge into Sunday, which we did. You know, we shot the best round that we had all year.
Good.
It's still not where we want to be, but at the same time, it was a good stepping stone. You know, we went 77, 78, 80, 85, and the issue was we thought we were even, you know, with 2 holes left, we thought we were going to be even lower on 314 or 315.
Yeah.
But the 17th hole there, you know, tends to get you. It's like 200 yards with a pond on the right and this massive hill on the left. And it seems like every shot, it's a magnet to that water. And it's an intimidating shot. And we didn't do what we needed to do on that hole. And it cost us, you know, 4 shots. So, but we played, you know, overall, it was the best tournament that we had all year. So, I was pleased with the weekend. I thought we put ourselves, you know, we leapfrogged a Heidelberg team that had some success this year, so I was happy to see that and for us to finish, you know, middle in the field. That wasn't, you know, I wouldn't say that was the best thing that we could have done, but as far as the season, it wasn't, you know, in the bottom half. So I think I was overall pleased with how we finished.
Well, the idea in any point of a season now, Coach, is you're playing the best at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Before we talk about this weekend, and there is a little bit of a change, we'll let some people know about that here in a moment. Are you about where you want to be, or do you have a gut feeling that there's something in this team that's going to maybe arise here in the next 2 weekends?
I mean, I think so. Again, you know, the conference championship, it's a different monster. You know, we talked last night as a team about, you know, even if you've played in a state championship before and some bigger summer events, to this point, this is the biggest tournament of your playing career.
Right.
You know, this decides who goes on to nationals. So I think they kind of understand what the expectations are and understand what's on the line. It's just a matter of performing, you know. Not to say other tournaments, every shot matters, but literally at this tournament, every single shot can make the difference between us finishing 7th, 5th, 3rd, or winning, no matter what. Every shot is really important. And we kind of talked about some strategies, how we want to handle the next 2 weekends. I don't really want to put a score on it or, you know, figure out where we place, because, I mean, of course, we want to win, right? You know, I've kind of said that over and over again, that's the thing. We want to go into every tournament winning, but at the same time, I think we know what our expectations are as a team, and we just want to go out and play the best golf that we possibly can, you know, for four rounds.
You've been through this before. You know, as a head coach and as a player, what this takes. You said you kind of shared that with him a little bit. Talk a little bit about that discussion.
Yeah, you know, I told him about my senior year. You know, you can go into it kind of 2 ways into a big tournament. You can be really, really focused and really concentrated on the task, or you can go into it loose with no expectations. But it's a real fine line between being too focused and too concentrated, or being too lax and too kind of laid back. So I said it's about finding that within yourself and how you can control your emotions, the ups and downs. You know, if you have a few really good holes where you might string together some birdies or grind out a few pars, it's how do you respond to that? And on the flip side, you know, if you start riding the bogey train for a few holes, how do you get off of that?
Yeah.
And it's really about narrowing in your focus early on. And I shared with them kind of my personal story from my senior year at conference and how I handled it, and, you know, my advice to them on what are the things I did right or the things I did wrong, and just kind of let them come into their own. And I think, you know, they know what they can do, and they know what what they want to do as a team. It's just, at this point now, it's just a matter about performing.
You know, you said a little bit ago, which is very true, that I think it's a mindset that tournament play some players don't like it. I mean, they just don't respond well when the lights are on and it's all on the line. Mm-hmm. Do you have kind of a gut feeling as a head coach when you walk out there? Do you kind of know that might be a good day, might not be a good day? How do you feel there?
Well, you can tell a little bit easier with freshmen what it's going to be like. Yeah. I would say that with this group, you know, their mindset isn't let's go out there as freshmen and see what we can do. It's let's go out there as freshmen and try to shock some people.
Right.
You know, you're the new team in town. You know, you're not supposed to do well, and that's kind of what I told them last night. You know, we're not supposed to play well.
Yeah.
You're a group of freshmen. It's a first-year program. You know, we're not supposed to be in this. So none of the pressure's off of us. At that point, the pressure's off of us.
Yeah.
It's about the other teams trying to go out there and beat us. So let's just go out there, play the game that we know that we can play, and the chips are going to fall where they will. If you go out and play, you know, make every shot better than your last, you know, your score is going to speak for itself. But if you start letting the pressure get to you and start thinking about where we're placing at in conference and the overall end result, you know, then there's real no point of going out playing. You've already defeated yourself. So it's just we have to go out with an individual mindset of I need to play my best golf on this shot.
Yeah.
And then move on to the next shot, and you can't look back.
Yeah, like I said, there's no pressure on you guys.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep.
Okay, now there's a little bit of a change.
Mm-hmm.
You guys practiced at what you thought was going to be the championship course. Yeah. Now you're not.
Yeah.
What happened?
So our first tournament of the year was at Aston Oaks down in Cincinnati. Very nice course, Jack Nicklaus designed course. It's usually where the HCAC preview is every year. It's the first tournament of the spring. Most of the teams go down there to kick the season off. Some of the greens were in not so good a shape. Bumpy, some hole. It wasn't in good a shape. And they had the course had told the host school beforehand that they were going to fix these issues by conference. Well, that wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
And we needed to find the conference, and the host Mount St. Joe needed to find another course for conference. So they changed it to Miami Whitewater Forest Golf Course, which, to my knowledge, has never hosted a spring event for the HCAC. And I'm not sure if they've hosted anything in the fall either for Mount St. Joe. I know they host there for the women's, but as far as the men, not to my knowledge. I've never played there in the 7.5 years I've been a part of this conference. So it kind of evens the playing field a bit.
Yeah.
You know, if nobody's seen it before, unless you're from the area, you know, nobody really knows what to expect from it. We're all going to go out and play practice rounds, of course, you know, tomorrow, pretty much all of the teams, I think other than one that played earlier this week, but we're all going to go out and play a practice round tomorrow and kind of see it for the first time. You know, down in that area, you never know what you're going to get. It could be a hilly course and wide open, hilly and tight, or flat. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. So it's really going to be, I think it's going to, other than the weather, this could be an equalizer.
Sure.
I think it could prove to let a lot of other teams that may not necessarily be in the conversation for the title, I think it might let them have the door a little bit more open just because, you know, they've never played it before, and you go out there with really no expectations and go out there and just, you know, play golf.
Yeah. Do you like it? I mean, do you like the idea? I mean, or is it a little uncomfortable for you as a head coach? I know most coaches like to know what they're getting into.
Right. You know, for me, I've played every other course in our conference. So I know kind of the little ins and outs, you know, where to miss, where not to miss, what does this green do, you know, what are some tricks off the tee. From a coaching standpoint, I kind of feel like you're handcuffed because never played there, never seen it, so I really can't help them with the ins and outs. Now it really falls onto the players. It does it every other tournament because they're the ones swinging the club, you know, I can only lend advice, but really it's about kind of figuring it out tomorrow when we're out there for a practice round and kind of each individual player's game, how does that set up for each shot?
Yeah.
So really they're going to have to buckle down tomorrow and kind of figure everything out, and I'll just be there, you know, reading greens like I always am, but really when it comes to shot selection or, you know, where to land it, you know, I'm going to kind of let them kind of take over for that, and I usually do anyways. I'm not going to be like, hey, you have to hit this shot. It's usually just another word of wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, you bet. Now, here's how the tournament works. So you'll be in Cincinnati this weekend, and then you switch over to Terre Haute next weekend. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so our first two rounds are this weekend. We tee off at 11:30 on Saturday, and then it all depends on how what the field finishes.
Okay.
There's 3 waves of tee time, and there are nine schools in the conference, so there's 3 different waves of tee times and threesomes. So it just all depends on how we finish.
Okay.
You know, if we're in the top 3, we're gonna have a later tee time. If we're in the middle 3, 4, 5, and 6, we'll have, right that middle group, or if we're, in the bottom third, then we'll have one of the earlier tee times. But, we're really shooting to not be in that bottom 3.
Yeah.
We know the depth of this conference. We know what teams are the favorites to win. We want to be the Cinderella story, right?
Yeah, I agree.
This is the time to do it. So we might as well go out and perform now and use those little things of, I don't want to say disrespect, because it's really not disrespect. It's reflective of how we've played this year, but kind of use that as some external motivation to kind of go out there and maybe shock some people.
The last couple of weeks, it's been a health issue a little bit for a couple of your players. How are they?
Yeah, Jared's doing a lot better.
Good.
Other than a stretch of a couple holes on Saturday, that really kind of dictated his game, but he came back and fought back. Played a great round on Sunday, finished with 77. He says his back's feeling good. We've kind of had a lighter week this week at practice, a couple range sessions, some inside work, and everything like that. Garrett had the weekend off last weekend just to kind of recoup. He went out and he played 9 the Friday before we left for Defiance. Said he probably couldn't have gotten 18 in. So he had the whole weekend to rest, and went out and played 18 on Monday with no pain.
Oh, good.
And no residual pain on Tuesday.
Good.
So the nice thing is we're going to play a practice round, but we're going to be in carts on tomorrow. So he'll have 2 rounds on Saturday and Sunday to kind of go, and then we'll recuperate and rest and kind of go from there. But we're at this point, everybody's got to be healthy.
Yeah.
So.
You anxious, ready to go?
Oh, always. This is for me, even as a player and as a coach. This is what you play for every year. From when the guys step on campus in the fall. For our conference, this is it. We don't have any point system throughout the year or anything like that. This is what we work for. This is our conference championship.
Yeah.
So, and we're an AQ conference. So whoever wins this goes to nationals. There's no regional. There's very little at large.
Yeah.
So this is it. We either win this or we go home. So we're looking to continue play like every other school is in the conference, and we're going to go out there and do our best.
I know you will. By the way, how can people follow along?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be doing live scoring on GolfStat.
Okay.
So a couple players in each group are going to be doing live scoring hole by hole. Okay. So you can go onto GolfStat and check that out. You'll be able to get up to the minute updates. And I'll have the link on our Twitter page as well. Because of the live scoring, I'm probably not going to be as active on Twitter just because you can go and figure out hole by hole and probably get more information from that than you will from me. So that'll be live scoring all 4 rounds. And it's a great tool to have for the coaches, that we can kind of see where everybody's at during the given round. For everybody back home that can't make it, it's really good for them to kind of support the guys on the team and be able to see kind of how we're doing throughout the rounds and hopefully provide some excitement down the stretch.
It's going to be fun. Coach, good luck this weekend.
Troy, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt Gehring, head coach. And again, follow along as they go throughout the entire weekend. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. That rain thing keeps coming up here in the last couple of weeks, that maybe the rain will not be a factor this weekend. And we'll see you again next week right here on Inside Earlham College Golf, Radio Troy Digital Sports. All right.
Thanks.
Good job, man. Appreciate it.
And next week for this, I'll have to check with Caitlin, but I'm 100% positive that I'll be able to start talking about the recruiting class. May 1st is the deadline, so Monday's the deadline. So after May 1st, you can pretty much do